Now, I will... Oh, we're actually recording. We didn't run a test. We're just ripping it. All right.
Nice.
Ripping
It's
it
more
through.
funny to me if we just dive into it.
All right, funny guy. Shoot, I couldn't even ask words now. It's gonna look bad. I know it's gonna be kept in the recording.
Words. Do we have a brunch place picked out yet?
Well, that was the thing I wanted to ask about, except I don't want this to be kept in the recording because...
Too
we can cut
bad.
it. It's okay.
We can edit it out.
Oh.
Okay, what is that town in Portugal that we wanted to say happy brunch
Oh, was
to?
it Sintra?
Was it Sintra?
Or was it... I mean, there's Lisbon. Sintra...
There was one that seemed like everyone agreed, oh, we gotta do it here. For our one Portugal listener.
Oh.
I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember.
I
Well,
Don't
I'm gonna
remember
pick a
being a
different
part of
place. Sorry,
Okay.
Portugal listener. Hopefully you don't hear this end of it.
In the meantime,
Yeah. Why don't you in the
Man.
meantime?
I follow a lot of food accounts because I'm genuinely messed up in the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And recently, people have been making a huge deal over the fact that the convenience store Lawson, I believe, in Japan, has changed their egg salad sandwich. And I have seen like 4 videos about it. But it's just egg and mayonnaise. Like, I don't understand. And white bread. Egg, mayonnaise, and white bread. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, and I like egg salad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to wish a happy brunch to Lozano, Italy.
Lozano.
Lozano.
I thought we were going to do Portugal.
I hadn't decided against Portugal.
We didn't know which town to do.
I mean, you could just pick any town in Portugal.
Okay,
We'll
never
wish
mind.
happy brunch. No, we'll wish happy.
No.
Ow.
I'll...
We can wish happy brunch to 2 places.
No. We're just gonna... this is gonna be a longer recording session. Y'all are gonna have to deal with it.
Deal with it.
I mean, really, the only person who has to deal with it is me on the back end.
Yeah, RJ,
I
you're just
have-
making this harder for yourself. You know what? I'm gonna throw a
Lord.
fit. Throw fireworks everywhere, editor.
Okay. I am here, available for editing whenever. I'm ready to be deployed. Put me in, coach.
I'm not.
All right. I'm just gonna pick one of these.
The one on the left.
Jay? Aiden's gonna rage quit the podcast if you don't shut up.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's
Mentally.
probably it. You're not... Get a Snickers or something,
I
right?
don't have a Snickers.
Order yourself a Snickers.
What
Okay.
travesty is this?
Anyhow, I'd like to wish brunch now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yikes, this recording session. Good brunch and welcome to the Brunch of Idiots podcast. We are saying good brunch specifically to Evora, Portugal. Evora. However you want to pronounce it. I really don't care right now. I want to sound genuine, but that's been taken out of me. You can thank these idiots. I'm here with idiot number 1, Jay.
No, that's valid. I did warn y'all.
Idiot
before
number 2,
recording.
Riley.
I was
have
going.
done
And
nothing
idiot number
wrong!
3, RJ.
I take full accountability.
So do I.
I
Take Riley out of it.
refuse.
All right, Riley, I'll give you a deal. Would you like to split your idiocy title between the two of them, and you will be labeled as this podcast's smart person?
Yeah.
All right, I'm here with idiot number 1, Jay, idiot number 2, RJ, and grade A genius, Riley.
Hold on, that's so much worse than it.
And we want to wish a happy brunch to Evora, Portugal. Anyhow, with that set aside, we are just a bunch of idiots that wanted to do a podcast. We have all kinds of categories that we do. We rotate hosts, and today y'all are stuck with me. Haha. Today, the topic is, oh crap, we're doing this. So it's moments where you kind of have this realization to yourself, whether it's like you didn't prepare well enough or this is actually a bad idea. Just parts in our time here on this green earth that we kind of said to ourselves in any variation, whether it was like that or like a mistake you made, an oopsie, things you wanted to try again. Oh crap, we're doing this. And I'll start with my own personal story. This one nearly had my hide on a wall, so buckle up, everybody. Back in the days of high school, I did it doesn't show as much these days, but I did a public speaking class. I was on my second year of public speaking, and my project was a tall tale. Of course, I wanted to do Paul Bunyan, because Paul Bunyan's pretty cool. If you haven't read up on those tall tales of Paul Bunyan, after listening to all of our podcast stuff, go read up on that. It's pretty sick. Anyhow, I have this horrible habit of procrastinating, or at least I used to. I still kind of do. And usually for public speaking, it was like I'd work on it a little bit, and then the last day or night, somewhere early evening, I would rush to finish the rest. And because I'm fairly decent at impromptu, it would turn out okay. For some reason, in this specific instance for the tall tale, I didn't prepare crap. There was nothing until I was going to bed, and I thought to myself, ah, crap, I gotta do this. I gotta read up on Paul Bunyan and get this ready. And long story short, I read a bunch of Paul Bunyan over and over for a couple hours till like 2 a.m., woke up at 7 a.m., talked to my mom. She got mad at me. She said if I didn't get anything less than an A, or if I did get anything less than an A, I would be the dead. And I read it a couple more times when we got there, and
Did you say you would be the dead?
I would be the dead. The entire dead. All of them.
Oh, every single variation.
Every single
thereof.
one. Yep. And I ended up doing it so well that the teacher had me stay for the next class to show me off. So that was a successful, oh crap, we're doing this. Anyone can have like a successful one, an unsuccessful one, any way that we want to do it.
I kind of have one, kind of in the same caliber. Have I talked about my web page design class I took in college?
I don't know.
No.
Ooh, I don't think so.
I think it was like website management or something, but it was basically just like a website, a website design class that I had enrolled in, and this was like I think my second or third year in, and so I enrolled in this class, and it became very apparent that this guy was very hands off and was also very hard of hearing. And I always sat in the back of the class, so like I couldn't have any questions answered even if I wanted to. Well, so our final project was basically just to have our web page done. So like we bought our own like domain names and everything, and that was like our entire class. So there was there weren't any like real lectures or anything. It was just like you show up to class and work on your web page. So I got in the habit of sitting in the back of the class and then signing the attendance log, and then I would just walk out the back of the class, and then at the very end of the semester, I turned in my webpage, which I had slapped together in like I think overnight, like the night before it was due. It was very full of like memes, and it was not taken seriously on my end, and somehow I got a passing grade, and I don't even think he looked at it, to be honest.
Oh,
So
no lessons were
Hot
learned.
diggity.
yeah, well, it was like I had like a link on my webpage that was like, you know, it was meant to look like a pop-up ad, and when you click it, it takes you to an article about safety online and like suspicious links.
That's
Had
funny.
nothing to do with the rest of the website, but it was on there.
So you had a meme page and then a PSA on website.
Yeah. Well, I think also on one of the pages I had it was like meet our founders or something, and it was like Elon Musk, Harambe, and not Elon Musk. It was Mark Zuckerberg, Harambe, and someone else.
That's funny. That's
That is-
really funny.
That
That
pretty
is.
funny.
That's beautiful.
This broadcast brought to you by memes.
Mim.
Memes.
I have a story involving school that's kind of like that, but it didn't end up going too incredibly well.
No successes here. Oh no.
Well, it's not that it was a failure, it was more like a net neutral situation. So when I was in college, I went to a very intense private college. All of the classes were 8 weeks long or shorter. But some were 4 weeks, some of them were 8 weeks. I think some of them were 10 weeks, but they were very short classes. It was rapid fire. And I had 2 very intense classes running back to back. Now, my advisor advised me against. Oh, I had 3 really bad classes back to back. Not back to back, on the same like mini-mester, right? I had modern standard Arabic, second language and cultural acquisitions, and it was sociolinguistics. And all of them were really work heavy, like intensely work heavy. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm intelligent. I can take it. Newsflash, I did. However, I think over those 8 weeks, I slept maybe a grand total of, I want to say 100 hours, if that.
Oh.
I did not sleep at all. I was
Goodness.
just reading and doing the homework assignments because they did not lighten the load at all just because it was an 8-week class. In fact, it was all the work you would do over a semester crammed into 8 weeks, right? So with the way that my schedule shook up, the ending of 2 of my classes, second language and cultural acquisitions, and sociolinguistics, ended on the same day as a new class started, and that was, oh my goodness. It was I don't remember what it was called, but it was about reviving dead art. In different cultures. And that one started at 7 a.m. the same day, and it was an all-day class that I had to... It was a week's worth of all-day lectures.
Oh,
and then
no.
I had 6 weeks to write a dissertation based off of that week's long lecture.
Holy moly.
So the night before this clusterfuck of classes colliding happened, and I was told, hey, this is probably not a good idea, but I was like, yeah, I can handle it, no problem.
Famous last words.
Emailed my teachers on the other 2 classes, and I told them, hey, I know this is the last week of class. I've already taken my finals. Would you please let me turn my final papers for these classes in electronically? Or would you please let me bring, or let me give my physical copies of my papers to classmates to hand in for me, right? And I was told that my advisor did the same thing. I heard back from my sociolinguistics professor, and she was like, absolutely, of course. You know, you have a solid B in my class. You've done all your work. I totally get it. Yeah. But SLACA, Second Language and Cultural Acquisitions, they hated me in that class. Like, legitimately, the teachers frowned at me when I walked in towards the end of the class. Right?
That's lovely.
I don't think I've ever had anyone frown at me in my entire life. Like, scowl, maybe, but not frown.
No, they would, like, look at me and frown. It wasn't a scowl. It was more like
just kind of oh. It's you.
Oh.
And they told me, no, I couldn't do either of those things. And I still had to somehow make it to a meeting with a hands-on advisor for that class sometime that day. They did not care if it interfered with my other class that was starting that, you know, was also worth like 6 credit hours. And they would not let me reschedule or anything of that nature. So I skipped lunch, met with my SLACA advisor during that lunch period, handed in my final paper, which they tore to shreds. I got an A in that class begrudgingly because I did good work, but they didn't like me. And then I made it at like 2 p.m. right when I eked in the door when lectures started back up in this other intensive. I slept for 2 days after that, but that was my
That's wild.
That campus is not healthy. There's not
No.
like looking back at all of this, I'm not the only student who did stuff like that, right? There was one guy who was hospitalized because he kept doing stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
Like, he ended up like collapsing and had a whole like seizure thing going on because of the amount of stress he was under because of these classes. So, yeah. It was wild.
Oh man.
It was wild time.
That's the other thing too about that specific university. Like, how many people in fields outside of like missions work are really going to know what that campus does for all of that stress?
Well, translation work in general.
That's fair, I guess.
And you know, Peace Corps kind of stuff. Like, it's relevant in ways that are, in my opinion, not really appreciated very much. But the problem is they make the education so unbearable that I am shocked anybody does it. So.
Yeah. Because that sounds worse than the university I went to, and I have choice thoughts about my education. I was there for a year.
It was rough. It was that whole semester. I took like 8 or 9 classes, and it was definitely a weed ball situation.
That sounds deeply unfortunate.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I had a little minty bee for a reason.
Just a wee bit.
My story, related yet not related to education, is it's only related because it happens on a university campus, not because of classes. So for those who don't know, one of my 2 jobs is moves and setups at a university that I used to attend. And but before that, I worked with the maintenance team there, the apartment maintenance team. And there was one school year, the very beginning of the year, it like flooded, like first day of classes.
Yikes.
It was the rain was so bad, like the students were moving in, and the bottom of one of the dorms was flooding. So we were basically moving everybody who had moved in the week prior out. And we had like dry vacs. We had, because it was one of those days where you walk in and it's raining and everybody's like, "Okay, it's go time, people. Go, 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 go." And I'm like, "Well, we're hitting the ground running. This is what we're doing today." It was like emergency status, like code black, like
It's 100% wee ball situation.
At all stations.
it was battle stations. It was bad. I skipped lunch and then left work an hour early.
I don't even blame you. I think I would too.
I was wet. I was tired. I was miserable. I
What a
was angry.
situation.
It was not.
That kind of reminds me of one of the summer camps I went to one year. I think it was my second year, but I think it was actually the same camp with the Slim Jim incident.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no. From
Did I
last
not talk about
episode.
that on the podcast?
You
guy
did.
Yeah, he
I
spent
can't
like the rest of.
remember it.
We were at summer camp, and one of the guys had money from his parents to spend at the commissary on stuff like souvenirs and whatever, but he had to return whatever money he had left over when he came home. So whenever we were about to leave, he just went and spent the rest of it on Slim Jims.
Goodness.
And so by the time
right.
we got like halfway, he had eaten so many of these Slim Jims, his fingers were
all
slippery
oily. I
from all
remember this, yeah.
the
Okay.
grease.
My
Yeah.
brain's
But
cut
anyway.
out now.
So we were at that summer camp, and there was a really bad storm that had passed through, and it had like got to the point because our campsite was on a hill because we were in like these like the canvas tents.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it was canvas tents on top of pallets, and it had rained so much, and since our campsite was on a hill, it was just like flooding through our campsite. So it was kind of miserable. We had to like get everything up off the ground. Some of the guys had actually gotten out of their tents and like brought all their stuff because we had like a pavilion with like picnic tables. And it had like a concrete floor. So everyone like moved onto the picnic benches or tables in the pavilion. And in the morning, it was just funny just seeing everyone just pouring water out of their tents. Like one of the guys had like tilted his cot and was just draining it because it was just full of water.
No.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was a pretty miserable night. It was a fun camp though. Outside of that,
Had a very similar situation.
Go by the
with,
way of the Lorax.
I am the Rolex. I speak for the trees.
You had a similar situation?
I had a similar situation happen one time. It was the like senior camp out at one of the youth groups I was a part of, because I was part of like 4 for a little while there. 3.
Yikes,
4?
that's a lot
I
of
don't-
them.
Yeah, I was really active with
You were very
the groups
busy.
that I hung out with. Yes, all the time. But the senior trip that year, we went camping, and I think it was supposed to be like a weekend trip. So we left Friday, got back Sunday afternoon. So first day fine, starts clouding up the end of the second day, and I'm like, hopefully that won't be a problem. So the Sunday we were planning to leave at noon. Spoiler alert, we got home at noon,
Ah,
where it's like a 3-hour drive from my house. So, basically, we woke up at like 6, and so my tent, I had forgot, or like we had lost the piece that's supposed to go over like the bug netting at the top. So instead, we just put like a straight up like a whole tarp over our tent.
Nice.
that sounds hot.
It was hot, but it was watertight. So, there's like a straight up like full on thunderstorm happening outside. Like we wake up, you can hear like the rain like blowing up against the side of the tent. It's like bad. Luckily for us though, we have a tarp underneath and tarp over top. So we're
Hey.
completely dry because of my mistake. It just happened to work out. However, the youth leaders were in hammocks, and the girls were in a 10-person tent.
Oh no, they can't put tarps over that.
No. So it's pouring down rain at like 6 a.m. in the dark in the middle of the woods. So people are like grabbing their tents, like trying to pack stuff up so that like keep stuff as dry as possible. Where like people are dragging their tent fully built over to the bathroom area because there's an awning over there
Oh no.
so that they can pack stuff up under the awning and out of the rain.
Oh.
Meanwhile, me and my tent mate are chilling because we're like, we're dry. Nothing bad's happening here. We could literally just stay here like this because we didn't even leave our shoes outside the tent. We had our shoes inside, so our shoes were dry too. So like we're chilling, but eventually one of the youth leaders comes up and is like, "Hey, we're leaving." They were like, "Okay." So we did what everybody else was doing, drug our tent over under the awning and started folding stuff up. And by the time we had everything packed up and ready to go,
The rain was gone.
the rain had stopped.
Yeah.
So
That makes you feel good inside.
we finished packing our stuff up in the van and went home, stopped at a Buc-ee's, everybody in their like wet shirts at like 10 a.m.
Just a bunch of kids all
Yeah,
soaking wet
literally.
from the rain, shuffle into a Buc-ee's.
I have very fond memories. I think this was a fun experience because it didn't like not only was it funny to look back on, at the time it was fun because it didn't affect me that badly, like
Yeah.
everything was chill. But everybody else is like panicking and it's like
it's like what?
How do you spell that?
Oh, that needs to be flashed on screen later.
AUGH.
AUGH.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like it needs an O in it. Like an O with a
UOGH.
AOU.
Yeah, I think maybe an AOU.
I think it needs. What are the two umlauts? Is that what the
That's
two dots are
yeah, it's
called?
an well, if it's over an E,
Oh.
You know, if you were to
Then
slow that
it's a
sound
different-
down, it would sound like those like groan tubes.
Sticks.
oh no.
I'll tell you a story. It's not. See, it's not quite revolving around me. It revolves around my mother, and it's because of. It's because of the oopsie that I made. One time as a child, I really liked looking at the inner machinations of a garage door opener.
Oh.
And there's a spot in the garage door opener that looks like you could hang on to it. And I was just thinking, man, I could put my finger on that thing and it'll pick me up. It'll be so cool. I'll be hanging from the ceiling. So I don't know how I get the garage door to start. I'm pretty sure I just ran back
You
and forth
asked me
really
to do
fast.
it.
Oh, why did you do?
I didn't know what you wanted me to. I didn't know what you wanted to do. I just knew that you wanted the garage door up, so I was like, sure, yeah, man, whatever.
So I place my finger in this machine, right? Which you all have seen the labels. Don't put your hand in a machine that's got moving parts. That's a horrible idea.
I've seen the
Definitely do that.
Chinese safety
It's a very good
videos.
idea. It is very safe to do.
Once again, this podcast is not liable.
Before you do that, you should watch a Chinese safety video.
Yes.
And then reconsider
Several
your
of
options.
them.
Several of them.
Um,
So Riley pushes the button, and I do not take off like I thought I would. In fact, what happens next is my finger is in intense pain. And I'm pretty sure it got crushed, but it felt like it was getting separated in two.
Yeah.
So I did what any reasonable boy would. And I screamed as loud as I could because I am a little baby. And
I'm over here. I thought that I killed my brother.
just imagine Riley going like, what have I done?
oh, Lord.
And my mom hears and she rushes over and she sees her idiot of a child with his fingers stuck in the garage door mechanism.
Oh my
So
God.
she like sets it back down, pulls me out, sees that like that fingernail is crushed entirely. It's black with blood. And anyone that knows, you gotta kind of clip that nail back in order to let it grow out healthy. So it was kind of a, crap, we're doing this. Because she has to deal with me screaming and flailing my arms all the way while that's happening. I think I got held down by Dad and by Riley while Mom was doing that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I can only imagine she had choice words for you after that.
The shenanigans I've forced my mom through.
You know, When it comes to situations like that, though, one thing about my mom is she believes in natural consequences, and she doesn't often rub it in too much farther than that.
No.
So because her dad was very much a let's make them feel shame for 3 million years kind of person. So, she was actually really gentle with Adin about this. She was like, and this is why we don't do this.
I'm over here just like...
Aiden, this is why we don't stick our hand in an active meat grinder.
What was RJ just doing minutes ago? I can't remember.
Did I have my hand in a meat grinder?
No, but you were telling other people to.
Oh.
No, I wasn't telling them to. I was saying they should because it's very safe.
So safe.
So
Very safe.
Oh, sarcasm is fun, isn't it, y'all?
My favorite flavor.
What? I've never heard of sarcasm before.
All right, Mr. Gaslighting Axelot.
Anyway.
Anyone else? We still have plenty
have
of
one.
time. Yeah.
Not a good story still.
I
feel
mean,
like
I just
most
told
of
not a
these
good story. These
are-
are not
let's
good.
be real
They're
here.
not meant to be good stories. They're meant
Might
to be
have
laughed
been
at.
fun
So,
for me.
so, my mom's side of the family comes from farming and ranching folk. For the longest time, my grandma and grandpa had horses. And every time we would go and visit them, we would ride horses. And I have never been a big fan of that. Horses are great to look at, and I like petting them, but I don't like getting on them. And my grandpa, in his older age, did not keep up with his tack as well as he probably should have. So one day when I'm about 16, Pop goes out and he says, all right, all the grandkids are riding horses. Cool. Sounds good. And he puts me on, the horse named Pecos. And Pecos was a paint horse. He was beautiful.
Very beautiful.
But he was also kind of goofy. In that, he was an autistic horse.
Mans was tweaking.
He was tweaking sometimes, and I feel like most paint horses are, but that's just, the way the
Paint
cookie crumbles.
horses susceptible to tweaktism.
So I get on Pecos, which it was not a graceful mounting. Because again, I'm not a horse rider.
Graceful mount on the tweaking horse.
There was no grace.
Oh.
And my grandpa was already peeved because of my not so graceful mounting of said horse. And so I walk my horse into the riding pen. We have a circle pin set up, so that we could, practice riding before we go out onto the rest of the property. They had like 90 acres. And what I didn't know was that the girt strap, which is the strap that goes around the midsection of the horse to hold the saddle onto the horse, got caught on one of the prongs on the gate of the round pen and broke.
Oh.
And so all of a sudden, my saddle is sideways on the horse.
And
And in my
nothing could
head-
go wrong.
In my head, I'm like, oh, we're doing this now. And then I fall off the horse. Now, there's a part of the horse where if there's a lot of pressure on there, the horse, specifically male horses, but female horses do it too, will start bucking aggressively because they want it off. It annoys them, right? And so the saddle starts acting like the straps people put on broncos in order to get them to buck at the rodeo. And Pecos goes nuts. Mans is on a rampage, and he's bucking, and I feel one of his back hooves fly right past my face. And I go, oh no! And then when he lands right on my thigh. So I then have, I'm being trampled by a horse, and I go, oh no! Because I don't have any time to have real thoughts. It's all just, oh no!
Valid.
Okay! So I get up as fast as I possibly can, right? My eldest girl cousin is in the round pen on a much more reasonable horse named Sam. Sam is about to start tweaking because Pecos is tweaking. And so Sam starts acting up, trying to run away from Pecos because Pecos is about to, smack him in the head with his back hoof. And my grandpa comes running as fast as he can. He can't run very fast. He needs a hip replacement at this point, and he didn't know that, but he's in a lot of pain walking. He's just saying, stop that horse! Stop that horse! And I'm looking up at my grandpa like, oh yes, and how am I supposed to do that?
Sir, I am sideways on the bucking horse.
Well, I had fallen off
bucking
at
horse
that point,
palace.
Thankfully. Otherwise, I would have snapped my neck on
I am a
the rest of the
wounded
round.
warrior of
I
a
have
fierce battle.
just crawled myself out of the round pin when he's like, stop that horse! And I'm like, oh yes, pray tell, good sir.
I don't think I
Thankfully-
was there to watch. I think I just helped you back inside.
Yeah, you just helped me back inside. Thankfully, we were able to get Sam out, and we were able to get my grandpa was able to get Sam out. My cousin was safe and fine, and, I didn't break any bones. Well, no, I broke my tailbone. But I didn't break any, vital bones. But then, right, I thought, okay, I'm gonna spend my day laying down on my tummy, because my butt hurts, and I'm bruised, and mildly traumatized. Then my grandpa comes stomping in. He's like, I replaced the girt strap, you're getting back on. And I look up at him, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And he goes, no, you have to get back on now.
Oh my gosh.
Which, yes, that is what you're supposed to do. If you are not too injured, you have to get back on the horse because you have to get over, psychological issues, sure, but also you have to make sure the horse knows that you're still going to get on him. And none of the other cousins really would ride him after that.
The oldest
Yeah.
girl cousin was all bug-eyed, going that would have snapped my leg in half.
And it would have.
We
it
are
would have
heavier
snapped.
set than they are.
All of them, they break their arms falling. So, and that's through no fault of their own. That's just genetics. But, I can apparently get trampled by a horse and only break my tailbone. But yeah, so I spent my day riding on the horse that bucked me off until my butt was hurting so bad I wanted to cry. And that was my...
Oh,
That
crap,
was my-
we're doing this.
What was your lesson that day?
My lesson that day was, I will only ride old, tired horses.
won't be making that error. Yes.
And always check your girt straps.
Girt straps.
Lord.
And make sure that you're giving the gate enough clearance, or else you're gonna end up side-saddled on a rampaging horse. Poor Pecos, though. I mean, it wasn't his fault. Like, I would have tweaked out too, you know? It's like the equivalent of giving somebody, like, a purple nurple aggressively.
Not the aggressive nurple.
That's so it's understandable that he was bucking around. But also, that was scary. Very scary.
Super scary.
I did not get to ice my butt that day. And
That is
sometimes
unfortunate.
sitting still hurts.
No.
That is a sentence.
Goodness.
Listeners, let us know in the comments if you've ever iced your butt.
Oh, I'm sure some people have.
I think my mom has.
See? It's a very common occurrence.
Your mom has iced Riley's butt?
No. My mom. So we went ice skating at at a local ice skating rink.
I was going to say.
No, just in the middle of the street, RJ. Texas has climate for that. Trust me. Walk outside right now.
One
you'll figure
day
it
a
out.
year.
Yeah.
One day a year.
Skates on the beach.
So we had gone ice skating, and she was, just hanging out doing ice skating things, and then she missteps and slips. So not only did she hit her tailbone, but she also had a hair clip in, like an alligator clip. And so
Ow.
she fell back and shattered the alligator clip on the ice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was it's a great time. Great
That's
time.
also- Sorry, go ahead.
I think we ended up going home early after that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine. That's also why you're not supposed to wear those in the car.
Yep.
Because in a crash, they go through your skull.
Yep.
I think I've only ever worn one of those once, and it didn't feel like the vibe. Not gonna lie.
I don't think they would be your vibe.
No.
I could see scrunchies, but not
Yeah,
alligator clips.
I just have regular hair ties. It's easier
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
I kind of miss My Little Ponytail.
I really thought you were about to say My Little Pony. I'm like, they keep releasing stuff,
My
man.
little pony.
There's
I'm-
plenty of options. There's like a movie on
I'm
Netflix
not-
now and everything.
I'm not a brony, but I do kind of want to watch the show called Mermicorns because it looks fun.
That feels like it's in the same vein as like Centaur World, which I've also not seen.
It's very similar thematically
Oh, it's
to
based
My
off
Little
of
Pony.
books.
Yeah. I saw an ad for it and I was like, that looks fun. I would watch that.
Huh.
Apparently, there are also cat corns.
capped corns.
Cat.
Aren't they like the
See?
rival to like Marvel? Oh wait, no, they work with Marvel.
What?
Capcom. Never mind. Moving on.
You know, out of all of the things that I've done that have been dangerous and kind of stupid, sometimes I think that being in a call with you is going to be the most dangerous because you're going to give me an aneurysm.
I'm the crap. We're doing this every time I get in call with any of you three. That's hello, hi. I'm the problem. It's me. I told y'all before we started the recording today this was gonna be the case.
That is true. That is true.
Oh.
Any other
For the listeners-
stories?
Oh, but what was RJ going to say?
For the listeners,
I was just gonna say for the listeners, we ended up having to cut a lot at the beginning of the episode because it was chaos.
It was bad.
It was.
It was so bad.
It was really bad.
I personally think it should be left in, but that's just me.
No.
Well, we'll see, because I don't know. That's just 5 minutes of basically dead air. It's fine if it's like a couple of seconds of banter or
Right.
random
That's fair.
whatever. But if it's just 5 minutes of us fumbling around trying to figure out what we're doing. Anyway,
5
I don't
minutes
think-
is very generous.
Yeah, but the thing, I don't know. That's the producer in me, because I mean, a lot of the people that discover our playlist or our podcast don't stay for that long.
That's true. Yeah.
Fair.
So we want to be able to grab them. That makes sense.
Yeah, because there's like the whole idea of like a hook.
Yeah.
So
Hook, line, sinker.
Not to talk shop in front of everybody, but
I
Yeah.
always hated the idea of a hook, personally. That's probably why my scholarship essays never turned out great.
dude, I hated essays.
Oh my goodness, that brought up a thing.
oh boy.
The SATs.
Oh, no.
It's a very
Yeah.
short story, but I'm really horrible with essays. Or at least I thought I was. We'll find out. But I will say I spent a lot of time studying on how to write an essay. But the problem was every time I wrote an essay and I turned it into my mom, who was a certified English teacher at the time, she looked at me and she was like, "Son, you gave me a brilliant speech. That's not an essay. This is just a speech." So I was like, no. 3 years of public speaking have done me in.
Lord.
And when the SATs finally happened, my job every day, it's in math. I do a lot of calculations. When I did the SATs, because I did them wrong, apparently, like how you do them wrong, you're supposed to guess. You're not supposed to skip over things. And I missed the benchmark for all of the community colleges on math. And I was just stunned. Then I look over on the English portion, which is an essay. I chose to do an essay instead of the actual test. And I scored really well. Except I know I gave them a speech. But it's
Yeah.
just one of those, like, crap it, we ball. I'm just gonna write down a speech, something, so that they can read it.
Yeah,
Lord.
that kind of reminds me of my driver's test, not gonna lie.
Oh.
Do tell.
So I was prepared for my driver's test for the most part, right? And I scored really well and everything. I did pass on my first try, which I'm very proud of. But also, I feel like it doesn't really mean that much because I feel like they just kind of hand out driver's licenses to anybody who has physically, like, is physically able to drive. But anyway, I hadn't practiced any parallel parking yet. And my test was coming up. And so the night before, my dad took me out to a parking lot with a couple of cones, and we practiced parallel parking in the parking lot. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is easy. I got it. So I go to take my driver's test, and I do like the written test, whatever, and that's fine. I go to actually do the actual driving portion, get everything done. I nearly like got us hit by a semi, but that's cool. They didn't mark me down for that. Because the road, okay, so this is side tangent. The road wasn't marked. I thought it was a 2-lane. I thought there was a left turn lane and a right turn lane. There was not. So I was approaching this semi, and the tester was like, "What are you doing? Stop!" I was like, "I was getting the right turn lane." She was like, "This one lane." I was like, "How was I supposed to know?" Because the semi was like very far over. Like there was plenty of room for me to get in there. But anyway, so we get to the parallel parking portion, and at the DMV where they did the parallel parking testing, it was a curved curb, like a concave curb, which completely threw off everything I had practiced because I couldn't see both of the points at once. Because the way I had practiced was being able to see it in my mirror, but I couldn't do that because it was curved. So I ended up having to like back out and pull back in like 3 times in a row. Finally, I was like, you know what, that's good enough. Threw it in park, and I got my results back, and I passed. I was looking through the notes, and under the parallel parking section, the only note was bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is truly fantastic.
Yeah, miraculously, that was the only portion I failed on, and I guess that wasn't even like a requirement to pass.
I don't think it is here.
Yeah,
I'll
so
tell you mine in a second. Sorry, I just
I
No,
got
you're good.
failed
That was it.
on a dadgum motorcycle speeding on past a stop sign. How did you
Yeah.
not fail on the one?
That's
I
wild.
don't know. It was a
Well,
miracle.
The DMV that like office that you and I went to was notoriously like out of all the ones in like the metropolitan area was known for the most fails.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
I also think my tester was kind of like in a funk that day and didn't particularly care, which is most of the DMV staff. But yeah, she just kind of seemed like she was not really caring. And I think the only reason she marked me off on the parallel parking was because it took like 5 minutes of going back and forth. Anyway, what's your story, Jay?
Dude, I have so many things revolving around my trying to get my driver's license. Because I got my permit, I was 15, and then I sat on it and did nothing for like 3 years, and finally got my license later, like on New Year's Eve of 2021. Anyway, so but like in the process of trying to get it, not only did I get the wrong form, had to leave the DMV and come back. I also, when I took the driving test, in my parallel park segment, I backed in, like got into the spot just fine. Like perfect, flawless execution. My problem was getting out. Because after I had pulled into the spot, I pulled forward a little bit and centered myself. Well, I had forgot that I had done that, evidently. And so the guy's like, okay, now leave. I'm like, I have enough space to, pull forward and out. I did not. I clipped the curb, and I'm like, you know what? We're already in this anyway. They're going to mark me off. I just ran up over the curb. So my
That
dad,
is
right?
the purest form of crap at Weeball.
Yeah. So my dad, right, who was the one with me at the DMV that day, he had come outside to watch me do the parallel park portion. And so after we get the results back, he's like, you passed. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so you mind telling me what happened with the parallel parking?
Goodness.
Bless.
Also, during that same driver's test, you know how they give you like directions where to go? Like you just drive around like a random block nearby.
Yeah.
So I was driving around and the guy's like, hey, turn right at the yellow sign. And I'm like, what yellow sign?
Oh no.
And I'm telling this guy as we're pulling up to where the yellow sign is, me not realizing it's a yellow sign. I'm like, yeah, I'm colorblind. He's like, just turn right here. I'm like, okay. And it's like, turn right. He's like, no more colors. I'm like, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Please do not make me do color.
Please,
What are
please
you,
not.
some kind of ableist?
You think I can see everything you can? I ran over a curb, dang it.
I have a DMV. Wee ball.
All right, I think that will be the last one. Go ahead.
Okay. Parallel parking, actually.
Ah, it's
same
always
thing.
the parallel parking.
Right?
Leave your parallel. Leave your parallel parking comments in the comments stories in the fuck.
So, okay.
Good job.
I'm taking my driver's test, right?
Yeah.
And my proctor terrifies me because I have never met a man with bluer eyes than this man. And he stares at you.
Ah.
And it was like, why do you have android cyan eyes and why are you staring at me like you can see into my soul?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm already on edge because this man sets off whatever autistic wee-woos I have in my head. The first portion that they did on this test was the parallel parking portion. And I was horrible at parallel parking. My mom, bless her heart, tried so hard. But it just was not clicking at all. And so I figured I could do it if I parked very slowly. So I inchworm my way into parallel parking position. I'm going so slow it's not even reading on the odometer, right? Or whatever it's called. Speedometer, not odometer. You know what I mean. And I, as the driver, feel that when I press my gas just a little bit, I can't go back anymore. I have hit the curb. But my proctor doesn't know this. Because I have gone so slow, he did not feel me hitting the curb. So, I just, maneuver myself in there. And I looked like I perfectly parallel parked. On my test, it was a perfect score. Right?
Nice.
So, kids, if you want to cheat on your parallel parking test, go really, really, really slow.
There's gonna be like 5 people across the states somewhere.
But the idiots told me to do it.
Well, that's your problem. You listen to the idiot.
We don't call this cheating. We call this failing upwards.
I did not fail. Not a single time. I got my... I had a perfect score.
It's strategic flubbage.
Yes.
It's using the tools at my using the tools I have at my discretion. Disposal. That's the word. Using the tools I have at my disposal.
I said that 3 times.
I didn't hear you until the last time.
Disposal.
I've replaced a lot of them.
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
Anyway.
We
Thanks,
did it.
RJ. Big preach. Big preach.
All right. So, before I break out the words, let me break it down to y'all. Y'all have been slightly duped, bamboozled even. We've been playing a little game, and the audience knows, and I know. See, while we were going through this, I had a list of words that I was keeping tally on, to see how many times y'all said them. And I'm
Oh,
not
no.
gonna lie, things looked really grim at the start. Y'all said everything around my words except my words. Towards the second half, though, things turned up a little better. RJ, I can't tell you both words. I know one of those words you said wrong, and that was the word. Yeah, my list of words were mistake, error, oops, try again, crap, and wrong. Anytime you said those words, you would get a point. In fact, I think, RJ, you said wrong twice. Jay, you said crap 3 times, and you said wrong once. Riley, you said crap once. Therefore, Jay is the winner of my secret game.
Huzzah!
Let's go.
Crap won me the victory.
It did. You win bragging rights.
I'm going to say crap more tonight. Be
Good
prepared
job,
for
Aiden.
after the session.
I
Beautiful.
have some words.
Give us
And
the
I
words,
hope y'all
O
are ready.
Wordmaster.
I'm so ready for your.
This broadcast was brought to you by these words: chaos, memes, I can take it, cluster duck, we ballin', rain, out, consequences, graceful mount, oh no, girt straps, and autistic wee-woos. Thanks for listening.
Why are those mostly
What do you mean? Ours, Jay?
like 4 of those things were the.
A couple of those were RJ's and a couple of those were Jay's. I mean, between the 3 of y'all, it kind of.
Lord. Riley felt targeted. Is there something you need to tell us?
Congrats to
I'm
the
just
winner,
hungry
Jay.
and tired.
And happy brunch to Evera, Portugal. This
Happy
was a
brunch.
Brunch of Idiots podcast. I'm Adin. I have my 2 idiots, Jay and RJ, and my genius, Riley. Have a lovely brunch. Bye-bye.
Good brunch.
Bye all.
Bye.